Hi, Virgo. This is your March astrology reading. Tarot is what was trying to come out of my mouth, and I'm like, we're not doing tarot. Okay, so this is for Virgo for astrology for the month of March. Also, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, Virgo. Now, if you don't know what your moon or your rising sign is, you can always Google that information. Um, you may not get the whole astrology chart. You might just get a little bit of information about what that would mean as a moon sign or a rising sign if you do not already know it. And by all means, I do personal astrology readings. Usually I just do them over the phone. Um, you can always book your appointments if you want to with me. But if you're just trying to figure out what your signs are, you can Google that. You don't have to actually pay somebody for that stuff. Um, and then I like to make sure that I'm throwing out there, if you are watching the videos, I try to tell you if you're a sun sign or come on, baby, come get some love real fast. Yeah, well, now that I picked you up, mommy, now that you picked me up, I don't really want it. Go ahead. Um, if you are a sun or a rising sign, typically this is your core energy, and we're talking about those houses from the core and what that means in each and every house. Now, if it is a moon sign in Virgo, then I'm getting more to the subconscious becoming conscious, your emotional depths within these houses and what that means. And if you're a Venus Virgo, then we're talking more about your sensitivity, and sensitivity can be both positive or negative. I don't see Venus as love. I see it about your sensitivities and where that takes you, whether it's positive or negative. What I am getting is, right now I'm getting some heart chakra. And crown. This is about teaching yourself to believe in yourself, to forgive yourself, acceptance with self, self-love, and to see yourself in a different image. But you're overcoming frustrations. I am being given, yeah, that was mommy. That was, I'm being given overcoming, for several of you, some of your own inner self-deception versus self-commitment. Learning more about what the law of attraction really means. Manifestation because of the learning of that law of attraction. And some self-realization by coming into some truthfulness about some of your own hidden selves. Getting connected with what truly makes you tick. Some of your inner creativity, your inner child, your pursuit of pleasure, your enjoyment. What makes you tick? What makes you enjoy yourself? Which ultimately brings you back to inner emotional security, because you're tapping into that. You are overcoming some self-judgment, I feel, where maybe there's been insecurities that you've brought into thinking were securities, but you're realizing that really didn't fit. It didn't really work. It was safe or secure to stay that way, but you're realizing it's not. You're changing the way you think. Or you should be changing the way you think. This is being stubborn and flexible, overwhelming energies, holding on to burdens. Like I said, a lot of this is learning how to understand the law of attraction and how to manifest and shift it so it's working for you by coming into realizing some of that self-judgment where you've been working against yourself. And then reincarnating yourself like a phoenix into a new root chakra and all the way up. Hi, little boy. My cat's here. But okay, when we get into the astrology itself, first off, you have on the 4th of March, Venus moves into Taurus. Then you have also on the 4th of March, Mercury is going to be moving into Aquarius. That's going to be a very sensitive day for sensitives because you have both Venus and Mercury, which is still in retrograde, shifting different signs. Then you have the full moon taking place on the 9th in your sign. And that is going to challenge some of your own awareness, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your character, your personality, your image. I believe that's going to bounce off of relationships and spirituality. Hold on. Yep. The relationships are going to be illuminated because it's going to be the relationship zone with the Sun and Neptune together on that full moon on the 9th, not getting along with your higher self and your self-awareness, your personality, your appearance, your image, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. So it's going to be asking you at that time, it's going to be asking you about that creativity, about what you enjoy. Are you having time for you? Are you enjoying things in your life? Or are you doing things within the relationship that help others enjoy theirs? Are you having time to enjoy life? Your personal interests, love interests, fun interests, hobbies. And are you honoring that communication you have with yourself about what you need so that you feel emotionally secure? Or are you feeling like you don't get to express yourself? Your independence is a little bit further on the back burner. You're gonna the relationship's gonna illuminate itself in some way to either help you alter that so that you are getting balanced, or it's gonna show you where it's out of balance, and more or less it's opening a big question of what are you gonna do about it, and put it in your hands, because Neptune is funny that way. Neptune will create and manifest anything you give it. But if you're not connected to the source and you're just connected to the third dimensional idea of what we've always been taught and that reality, will you recreate is the question. And will it be a recreation that's not serving you? Because everything right now has to do with breaking habits. And it also has to do with breaking habits as well as really getting to the root of if the soul is having an opportunity to breathe in your life and direct you for what is soulfully good for you, a soulful connection with you. Because if they're not connecting on that soulful level, then truthfully, what's the point? Okay, but then you have on the 16th of March, Mercury will go back into Pisces. On the full moon also, Mercury is going to go direct that day, putting it in shadow. And that's the energies that we were just talking about. But it will leave Aquarius and go back into Pisces on the 16th. On the 19th, it's no longer a Pisces season. We enter Aries season in an astrological new year, more or less. On the 21st, Saturn enters Aquarius temporarily, because it's only going to be here for a short amount of time before it retrogrades back to Capricorn. You have the full moon in Aries on the 24th. And then Mars enters Aquarius with Saturn, bringing extra energy into the beginning of next month. You do have Chiron and Lilith within 5 degrees of each other all month. That is a major power, and the sun will be crossing it at the end of the month. Also, you have Chiron and not Chiron, you have Ketu and Rahu, which is the North Node and the South Node, which is going to be in the next month and a half, I believe it is. They'll be shifting signs. So they're really beating up on us all right now, because when they shift into their next 2 signs, more or less, they're not going to be back to teach the lesson that they're trying to make sure you learned now for another 13 years, pretty much. So this is why some of this, there's a lot of reasons about why this energy is so in your face and are you listening? But it's because it's trying to put us in the right direction. Now let me get here where it's easier for me to kind of scope through this for the month. All right. So, as we're looking at this, your first house, other than when you have that new moon on the 9th, doesn't have anything in it, which means we're putting more into that second house, which is Libra. Now, Libra has Haumea here, Yura here, and Make here. That's the collective consciousness, commitment, and sacrifice to where are you on the growth of the lotus flower. That's what Make is. I say all the time, it's the swamp. The lotus flower grows in the swamp. And it's a beautiful spiritual guiding flower that helps us to illuminate and understand. But it grows in the swamp, meaning our spiritual growth comes from our ugly dirtiness of ego as we learn to shed it. So are you still in the swamp and you can't see the higher vibrational truth, the higher vibrational way? Because you can't see the light, you're stuck in the swamp. Or are you starting to realize there is an above and there is a below? You can see the sun, but you also know you're wet and in the swamp. You're kind of in a little bit of both, and you're learning how to travel up so you can spread your wings and bloom like a flower. Where is the sacrifice and commitment on those 3 levels? Where are you? Where is the collective conscious on those 3 levels? Plus, it's Libra, which is Libra is harmony, balance, and justice. To the very collective consciousness of where you are. But this also comes down to the second house, which is where the law of attraction comes into play. Because this is all about your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. And if your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem is low, then what you manifest is low. Because that's the law of attraction. If you don't feel liberated, secure, comfortable with yourself, then you can't help but to bring to yourself lower vibrations that will keep you there. This is about learning how to talk to yourself right, treat yourself right, love yourself right, and believe what you're telling yourself. So it's not crap that you're telling yourself, because when you do believe in your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, and you stand in that power, you feel good about yourself, you have that confidence, then that second house also rules your money, and it brings the law of attraction and finances also towards you. And it makes the possessions that make us feel good about us, like our phones, it helps raise that self-esteem even more. So it all depends on if you're getting right with that. But here's the trigger. Because now I'm giving you 2 houses at once. Your 8th house, which is your relationships rules house, which is ruled by Scorpio, death, transformation of reincarnation. For you, it's actually Aries, a brand new fire beginning, but you get bored with it easily and just give up and let it go with the flow. This is asking you, are the rules of these relationships healthy, or do they need to be shifted? You have Chiron here and Eris here, across from this Libra energy of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. So something in these relationships are making you feel, unless you've already started the healing, is what's pulled away from that self-worth, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Something outside of you, you accidentally gave that power to. And this is about taking that power back. Chiron, the wounded healer. Lilith is about, well, you are only given this opportunity to explore this life, and you have to live in this body. So you have a soul fire, and why aren't you exploring it? Why aren't you allowing your fire to burn? Speaking to Chiron about healing the relationship, but before there can be proper rules in the relationship, and a proper healthy relationship, the first relationship has to be with yourself. Because if you don't have high values of yourself, self-worth, self-esteem, you can't be secure with who and what you are. Those relationships are going to be dirt anyway, because they're based off of the law of attraction of how you feel about yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is a manifesting, healing way of thinking that goes so much more than just your relationship with yourself, but it brings the abundance of what your world is to you. And this is all asking you if you have the proper rules, walls, and boundaries in these relationships for people that are healthy and help support that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Or are they accidentally stealing pieces of it from you because you haven't realized you've been giving those pieces away? And if so, it's time for you to stop doing that. Now, as you go into the third house, because we just explained the second and the eighth house, as we go into the third house for you, there's nothing here. There's also nothing here in the fourth house. Well, all this energy has already been talking to you about your inner emotional security. Because the fifth house is loaded. This is Capricorn for you. You have Mars here until the last day of the month. You have Saturn still here until the 21st. You have Jupiter here. You have Pallas here. Pluto here. Your spirit, because Pluto is also spirit, is asking you, are you connecting with that creative energy? That creative self-expression? What makes you tick? What makes you enjoy life? Are you getting time to explore that? And what is fun? Because if you aren't enjoying life, then there's no personal foundation that helps create the inner emotional security. You have to figure out who you are, what you enjoy, and make time for that. That's a big part of balance, because if you're not enjoying life, then no part of life is going to be. And this isn't asking you if you're enjoying what other people want you to do. Because people will tell you they want you to go to this show or they want you to do this, and you may be hanging out. But if you're a guitarist and you don't ever get to play the guitar, why is that? If you're an artist and you're never getting to do whatever artistically resonates with you, why is that? I mean, we all have to have balance in our life, but at the same time, the balance has to be for ourselves too. Because if we're not healthy and balanced to enjoy the things that we want to enjoy, then how are we any good to anybody else? And this energy is saying, where are people keeping you from exploring you? Your creative expression? Where are you scared of your creative expression? Where are you afraid to allow your inner child to play and help you find out what truly interests you, so that you can set foundations that truly make you happy? Right down to the relationships, dating, sex, all of that. This is about being secure, sacral chakra, confident within yourself to be able to explore yourself. You have spirit here asking you if you're doing that. Saturn getting ready to leave, go into Aquarius, which is your third house of communication for a short amount of time. But then it's going to retrograde and come back and go, what did you not learn? Because I've got to get through your head now, because it won't be back for a long ass time. So it's really working on you right now in this area. And then it's going to assess the sixth house, your daily routines. We'll get there in a minute. You have Pallas, which is Athena, the warrior goddess, asking you if you're taking the time for strategically thinking about how you can commit to yourself, your spirit, and help it to grow and mature and nurture it. Mars asking you to take action up until they all start to move into that sixth house, which is Aquarius. And what's in Aquarius right now is Ceres, karma, and the threefold theory. But she also speaks to you about what you've nurtured or what you've neglected. And this is where that fifth house becomes so important, because if the sixth house is forcing you to neglect it, that's where things start to crumble. You start to lose pieces of yourself. The sixth house is your daily routines, your service, your healthcare, your diet, but it's also your work and your daily tasks, your everyday mundane tasks. I say this all the time. There is no mundane tasks. We do it all the time, but we don't realize how important that is. And Ceres is here going, the people, the places, and the things that you do in these everyday mundane tasks are way more important than you realize. And are these routines, people, places, and things supporting that glorious soul that's you? Are they supporting you finding your inner creativity, you finding that enjoyment in life, finding how to express yourself, come into your inner emotional security, help you liberate yourself? Because if these routines actually are working against you, well, then stop working against you and change the routines and the people, places, and things that create those routines. Saturn is going to be moving in for a short time because it's going to retrograde back to the fifth house. But for a short time here at the very end of the month on the 21st, Saturn is going to move in on top of Ceres, starting to go, well, what have you been neglecting? Because it needs to reassess the situation before it comes back after that retrograde. So it's going to take a little look around and go, mess things up for a hot minute, and then it's going to go back and go, let me see if any of that worked by the time I come back after Saturn's retrograde. When it jumps back into that creative house. You also have Mars, which is going to start swinging through there, asking you to take action in your creative energy for yourself, for your pursuit of pleasure, for your fun, for your creative expression, your personal interests, your you time, which makes you tick and enjoy life. And where are the routines, people, places, and things karmically going for you or against you? And what are you going to do about it? Now, when you get into your seventh house is your relationship zone. This is where Mercury is going to retrograde back to and will be in shadow. So it's a lot of that same kind of conversation. Are the relationships, the partnerships in your life healthy? And remember, Mercury is the communication, but it's also going to be retrograding out, going back into direct from that sixth house, back into that seventh house, from those daily routines, back into the actual relationship, and getting deeper into the relationship itself, and asking you how that communication really is. And the communication you have with yourself within those relationships. Are they healthy communications you have with yourself? Again, I'm being told self-deception versus self-commitment. And are the relationships, these partnerships, our friendships, parents, children, family, spouses, people you're dating, even working environment, friends, These are relationships. Everything you care about, you have a relationship with. How is this relationship working for you soulfully? Because if it isn't working for you on a soulful level, helping you to truly soulfully get to, a good communication or a good reincarnation, a good strengthening of your soul, then what the hell is that relationship doing other than sucking it out of you? So if it's not fair and balanced and isn't supportive both ways, it's not a relationship that's meant to be there. You're going to be acknowledging these questions because Neptune is a mastermind of magic. And he creates and manifests what you give him. And if you give him healthy relationships, he'll bring you more from law of attraction. But if you're giving him ones that are crap and aren't serving you, he'll also give you more because that's what law of attraction is. So this all has to do with the communication and how will you manifest. Now, we already discussed that 8th house and the rules versus how the rules of these relationships are affecting your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. So when we get into the 8th house, we're talking about your higher self. And your higher self is your ethics, your morals, your spiritual truths, your psychic energy, your psychic intuition, your gut feeling, your spiritual truths, your higher education. It also deals with philosophy and religion, but it's where I say the higher self is. And the higher self for you is Taurus, which means it wants only the best. Because Taurus likes luxury. Taurus is full of abundance, but Taurus is also bullheaded. You have independence. You have Uranus here, which is independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, creative expression, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and your higher self. Asking you, where do you believe in your higher self? Or do you believe in your higher self? Can you express it? Can you believe in it? Can you trust it? The answer should be yes, and if it's not, the question is why. Venus is here questioning that why. Giving you the sensitivity of knowing to trust that gut intuition, that gut feeling, that intuition. Trust Venus's sensitivities here. And she's telling you either where you're lacking in believing in yourself and your higher self and that communication, or she's telling you when others aren't believing in you and you're actually maybe listening to it instead of yourself. And then that's the soul healing within understanding that itself as you're coming through that. Now, your 10th house is your honor, your reputation, your prestige, your financial success, and your social foundation. It's your outer world, your outer authority. This is where the North Node is. This is saying the only way that true honor, reputation, and prestige is going to come in is through that higher self, trusting in its intuition, and backing up that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem to bring that manifestation in a positive way. Because if that isn't a secure self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, the honor, reputation, and outer world is bringing through law of attraction lower than what you want. And the outer commitment, authority, isn't giving you back what you want. The only way you're going to get it is through that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. This is about strengthening your thinking, your manifestation, your core, and your value. I love you guys. Bye.